Anyway, so here we go, guys. Listen up. So, I presented this to you. I drew this in right in front of you. This has been drawn in now in high speed. The lines that are there, but you could not have seen the nuances and the changes in shadow. I would not have been able to pick up the eye of the reptile, which is right there, which is the nostril of the sheep, without seeing the nuances, the changes in shadow. Now you know that the Lord sent me. I mean, who would blow this thing up into a giant poster? And who would build an entire light board in order to say, this is what I heard the Lord telling me to do, and then it pans out to be this, which is the same as the Vatican? Okay, that's not even remotely possible. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put these pieces back on for you on this side, because we've drawn this side in. You've already seen it. And then I'm going to deconstruct this right in front of you. Then we're going to go in the other room, and on the other light board, we're going to draw this back in. So you can see this was all a supernatural, Holy Spirit, supernatural gift that wasn't meant for 5 people to say that they had some kind of ownership. This was given to one person. Yahweh is given. All right. Okay, so I want to show y'all something. I want to get to this. The head of the child right here. Obviously, his face, he's right up in the face of his father. The Pharaoh, it looks like he's about to kiss him on the lips, doesn't it? Isn't that fascinating? Judas betrayed Jesus with a kiss. So anyway, but let me slide this thing up right here and let me show you something. This dark area that's the shadow of the kid's hand, I can see the curve it takes, and this becomes part of the same imagery. It's going this way. There's that little V right there that's very distinctly carved between the two, and so I'm going to just go right back up there and I'm going to show you. So I colored all that in front of you yesterday on a different light board, but there's the same thing. So now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this down here. I want you to see what it is. Look at that. That's the creature that's eating the sheep. There's his eye. There's the shadow of his eye on the far side, eyebrow, his nose, his open mouth, and the tongue coming out of his mouth, going directly to the mouth of the child whose spirit he is taking. What's the whole earth about? Isn't it about Satan prowling around like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour? Well, let me show you whom he's devouring right here. He's devouring his own kid. And there you go. So we'll go right here. And he's going for what? The spirit, the breath of his own child. And that's why we've been yoked together. Inside of you, you have a race of beings that is stealing your essence through the host body system. And here's absolute proof. Okay, there's the creature right there. And I'm just taping him up. So there he is. And you can see everything matches up the lines. All the lines match. Everything's where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to put that on there. So now we have the creature. Those who try and hide their plans from the Lord, they turn everything upside down. Who's they? The pyramid. The pyramid is your enemy. The night I got saved. Wow, this is from the pyramid. I wonder what the odds are. Okay, now let's look. How did they do it? Let's look down here. Take a look at what you're looking at. I drew it in yesterday for you. Right here, there is the penetration of this serpent being's penis into this female's vagina right there. There's no arguing that. It was drawn in right in front of you through me by the Holy Spirit. So that's why when people call me a false prophet, they just cast dispersions on the spirit that made that manifest. So that's not good. So don't do it. So here we go. Now, the creature's eating his own kid. The creature is a representation of this entity, and the cumulative sum of the whole thing is a giant face of the evil one. That's the whole thing is the face of the evil one. E pluribus unum, think of many out of one. This whole thing is a giant face, but it's an agenda of their hive. Do you understand how profound this is? And here's the way they do it. What everybody thinks sex is love. No, it's not. Sex is lust and desire. It's a whole different thing. Love is a whole different thing. Okay, so here's the creature eating his own kid. Here is our serpent being right inside Akhenaten, looking back the opposite. There's his eye looking back that direction. Here's Akhenaten with his face mouth to mouth to his own child. But the creature is really the system upside down, taking the breath of the child, which is the sheep. See the sheep? There's the sheep's eye, the tongue, nostril on the far side, open mouth. So there's a dead sheep. Here's the creature taking his breath. Here's the one that's responsible for the insemination of the female. So we're going to take this right now and we're going to attach it to the female. So let's go down here. So now here's the serpent being impregnating the woman. There it is. Now let's put that up where it goes. You ready? You want to see supernatural? You want to see miraculous? You want to see only God could have done this? Not some guy named Jonathan Kleck, and not other people that say, oh, look, Donald Trump's in this hieroglyph. It's like, sorry. No, he's not. He's not in the hieroglyph. Okay, there you go. There it is. There it is put together. And the result from this is the spiritual being trapped in hell. This is where the energy goes from killing the sheep. So here's the sheep, and the spirit's being taken from the sheep, and that energy goes to the pit, and that no one gets out. He's got his feet on the door. So here is the system. Okay, one thing I forgot to do is, very important. Let's take a look down here. And there you go. So there's the dead sheep with its tongue sticking out. Let's go even there you go. Look at that. So I outlined that in silver. My goodness. So there's a dead sheep with its tongue sticking out. Now, here's the reptilian being that's birthing out of the Kelipot that's attached to the Sitra Akra, the realm of evil from the other side. So here's the serpent being. There's his eye. See it? See his tail wrapped around? So now you have a serpent being, a serpent race that is benefiting off the death of that sheep right there. And the place that it's hatched is the consciousness of the child. So it's a consciousness that takes over the host body system. Now, ready? You want to freak out and see the mystery of your existence? There it is. Someone called Giorgio Sikopoulos and tell him it's time to go get a new haircut and do a new Ancient Aliens video. There it is. Ready? Let's go. Let's kick his ass. And you know how you do it? You turn the whole world upside down so you can see them, because they hid your ability to see them by inverting you. So to show you who they are, I've inverted the world to show you who your masters are. Do you understand how profound this is now? Okay, now we're going to deconstruct this side, and we're going to go in there and fast forward it, super fast drawing. Okay, so I'm going to slowly start deconstructing pieces. Let's take off this. This is a big reptilian being right here. That's the eye of the reptilian being. There's the open mouth. And then this comes down the neck. And this actually, watch, this turns into the arm of the reptilian being. So it's really a reptile sitting here. No different than this is a serpent being, a reptilian being inside of Akhenaten. Here's the reptilian being right here, and that's the arm of the reptilian being. But let me show you something. Right here, you'll see these colored markings that are blue and green and red, and you'll see this thing that's coming down like this, and there's actually a stinger right here going into the back of her neck. This is DNA transcription. I don't want to get into all this right now. It's in the Kingdom Divided video. But you know what? I'm going to keep it simple for you. We don't need to go off on a rabbit trail. But that's DNA transcription. Now remember, the locusts that come out of the pit, what do? They sting men. Men will seek death and will not find it. Isn't it crazy? There's a stinger going in the back of her neck. And there's a stinger going in the back of his neck. Zach, can you get up super close to that black spot right there? So this is coming together as a stinger. That's a stinger penetrating his neck. So the back of Akhenaten's neck. So anyway, very important thing that y'all know about. However, I'm not going to spend all the time to draw the whole DNA transcription. It's just too much, and it doesn't matter for everybody's brain. First, yes or no? Is that a sheep with its tongue sticking out? It's simply a yes or no answer. It's either a dead sheep or it's not. So, hey Johnny, I drew a picture of you. Why'd you draw a picture of me, Alex? Do you know who you're speaking with? So now let's just jump off on a little sidetrack. Is that a sheep with its tongue sticking out? It's a yes or no. So the guy that drew this picture of Jonathan Kleck, his name's Alex, he drew the identical agenda as a hieroglyph that's 1,300 BC. So now it's proven. Just proved it right in front of you. That's Alex's drawing. Here's the hieroglyph. Here's the Vatican is a snake. Moving right along, there's another picture of Jonathan Kleck with a dead sheep on top of my head, which is exactly the same as a hieroglyph, and with a goat on top of my head as well. Sheep and goats, and then when you turn it upside down, there's a serpent eating me. Same as there's a serpent eating the sheep in this thing. It's always the same thing. Serpents eating sheep. Okay, let's continue to deconstruct. So now I'm going to deconstruct this. Let's get this guy off first. Now this is fascinating. When I draw this in again, y'all pay attention. This is simply the eyebrows and the open mouth of a person, like an entity, a man, woman, whatever, but it's sideways. So those are the eyes and the eyebrows and the mouth, and I'm going to rotate it sideways, and it goes right there. So I'm going to take that and put it right here. There you go. And then now, here the different serpents are. There's one serpent right here with his bottom jaw open. Here's another serpent coming up from underneath. And here's another serpent that's upside down coming from this direction. They're all eating this guy, and his neck is stretched backwards. And now I want you to see just how bizarre it is, because the hieroglyph itself doesn't make any sense. Look at this. Look at this blurb of stuff. What is all this? It almost looks like someone took a trowel and went over it or something. But the thing is, you couldn't tell what any of this is without seeing the nuances in the line. So I'm able to see the line there. There's the semicircle there, the semicircle there. So there's the eye, there's the split mouth, there's the open jaw, and I can see it now. And I can see the other images of the serpent that are coming in from other directions because I can see the nuances. See in between my thumb, you see that eye? Can you see how obvious that is? Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be able to see that snake's eye, that's the end of a snake's head. You wouldn't be able to see this. Okay, let me have the camera for a second. So you wouldn't be able to see any of that stuff if this wasn't on a light board. Every good and perfect gift comes from above, from the creator of heavenly lights, not like them who cast shifting shadows. Okay, so here we go. So let's go ahead and peel off the big mama reptile. Just call it the big mama reptile in the back. And this is her eyes. So this female reptilian, her eyes and ears are also the child that's in her lap. And there's a lot going on here too. There's the head of a sheep that's facing down here. The hand of the kid is also a reptile here. It's the end of a snake's face right there coming down, and that begins the face of a serpent going down. And then this kid's body that looks like a pork chop, that is not, look at that. You see the pork chop right here? That's not right. That's the head of like an anaconda or a python. And then it has the very distinctive markings that pythons and or boa constrictors have that go towards the eye. So there's the eye, there's the top of the head coming down, and then it just goes under. And there's the serpent eating the child that's in the lap of the queen. And the eye of the child is, or the whole head of the child is the eye of the reptilian entity. See it? There it is again. Okay, so now I'm just going to deconstruct this last piece. I told you I'm not going to worry about the DNA transcription, but the Lord showed me it's a stinger. I'm like, it's a stinger. Holy crap, it is a stinger. And so now I'm going to deconstruct the last piece. You ready? So here we go. Now, I just want y'all to look at this. Okay, ready? Now, I'm going to go like this. And there you go. And now I'm just going to simply pull this off. You can see that was all. Now I'm just going to go like this. That's a sheep. I will judge between one sheep and another, separating the sheep from the goats. So the race of goats, you know, Satan's church is an upside down five-pointed star, the sigil of Baphomet. What is it? It's a goat. So Satan's the one that turns it all upside down. This is a cumulative sum of an entity, the evil one. This is his agenda. What's the agenda? Well, get the serpent seed inside the female. The female produces a hybrid kid with this big elongated skull. Inside the kid's head is a consciousness not only of the dead sheep, but the serpent being that just impregnated her. It makes total sense. It's the only thing that does make sense. There's nothing else that makes sense. But this makes sense, and that would make sense on, wow, so you were willing to participate in the forbidden fruit? So you got a host body. Oh, so you're being hunted for dinner, just like the clothing line YG. Hunted for dinner, just like all the stuff I show you, broken promises. All the stuff I show you is connected to this, everything. And the Bible bears this out. So now you've seen it. There it is. And now let's just go draw that in one time. And there's a record of it for a court admissible record now. Okay, guys, while I was drawing that in so we could do the high speed thing, I kept noticing a change in shadow where it was trying to draw my pen into one of the surface cuts that should be above the serpent. And so I was like, why is the artist trying to draw everything into this? And I couldn't figure it out. So that's why I drew a couple lines on the serpent's body. So you saw that in the high speed. And I was kind of wrestling, like, which shadow do I go with? And that just led to a greater revelation. You want to freak out? So Satan said, Lucifer, I'll rise above the stars of El. Arise above the stars of El. Okay, well, the princes of El. This serpent has DNA transcription coming up from the bottom and a set of stairs. You ready? Look at this. Unbelievable. See, these are stairs. Those are stairs that are going into the serpent. See, it's like it comes down and it goes into the serpent. And it's also the DNA transcription that I'd mentioned in the previous video. So to be able to see that now is insane. This is a stairway, guys. This is the serpent, the head of the serpent. And the eye of the serpent is on that's basically the genitalia of the little girl. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Just think about it. The eye of the serpent is the womb of the little girl. The eye of the serpent is the womb of the little girl. That's insane. This is a set of stairs now. I just was able to discern it. And it's because the Lord had me stuck right here. I was like, wait a minute, why is that going here? Because see, this one right here, I'm like, follow the shadow. And it keeps getting drug into this. And I'm like, well, it's got to match up over here for the rest of the serpent's body. And that's when I stopped and I took a look at this. And as I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, I heard in my spirit, it's a stairway. And I'm like, it's a stairway, look. Those are steps. I will ascend above the stars of El the Most High by using a host body system to destroy them.